it. But you called for stakeholders meeting, people come to the assembly, you just tell them, oh, the meeting will not come on, just sign, write your name, sign and go. That is what happened last week, Friday. And up till now, we don't know whether the meeting will take place coming Friday or not.
They were later addressed by the Member of Parliament for the area, Frank Anodompre, who challenged the Assembly to withdraw the earlier eviction notices.
I cannot understand why at one breath an Assembly will give permit to people to go ahead and put up structures. And then at another breath, the same Assembly will come and put out notice and say that they want to evacuate people. Laws in this country do not work like that. That notice in the first place is barbaric. It is needless and it's illegal. So immediately the Assembly should write and withdraw all those notices that have been put across and ensure that the tension in the area is reduced to the barest minimum.
He also demanded the stone quarry to produce evidence that gave them the approval to operate at the site.
If indeed they have a permit and they've sat down all this while over a decade, then in law we can apply that. You understand? So if indeed they have given them a permit, which I doubt, I will want to urge the Mineral Commission that they should bring their technical men to come and do a re-evaluation. And let's see if they come to the same conclusion that they are going to give them a permit. Because I tell you, if technical men come here, they cannot give permit to Kobe Company to do quarry at this place. The rock is located within the center of the community. And the place is so developed, they can do it. It cannot be allowed.
The MP also appealed to the president to intervene in the matter. Even though the municipal chief executive had given his word to withdraw the earlier notices on Monday, Joy News's checks at the assembly indicates that it is yet to be done. A date is also yet to be fixed for a stakeholders meeting to be held to resolve the matter amicably, as the MCE promised when we first visited the community.
The senior communications lecturer is described as rather weak Ghanaians' understanding of democracy, its institutions and the personalities that support it. Professor Audrey Gajekpo of the School of Communication Studies at the University of Ghana says the population has, as a result of misconceptions, lost confidence in democratic governance, even though the Fourth Republic is more than 20 years old.
Professor Audrey Gajekpo blames parliamentarians in particular for the erosion of the people's confidence, attributing it to the vague promises they make during election campaigns to change their lives for the better through infrastructural development, among others. This, she says, is despite the fact that it is not within their remit to decide which community gets the roads, school blocks and markets they use to lure voters.
This is our 20th year of the Fourth Republic having started, and yet it's striking that our understanding of democracy, our understanding of the institutions and even the personalities that support democracy is so weak. And I ask myself, why is that? I'm particularly happy about the issue about clarifying the role of the MP.
Professor Gajekpo said the system of representative democracy is not working as it should and called on the media to give voice to the people and hold government accountable. The observation by the communications lecturer sharply contrasts what members of the international community, such as the visiting South African President Jacob Zuma, who believes Ghana is an excellent institution of democracy in Africa. Professor Gajekpo was speaking at the launch of a project dubbed Central Agenda Project under the auspices of Coastal Television, a Joy News affiliate in Cape Coast. CAP is expected to improve and enhance accountability and responsiveness of constituents and their respective parliamentarians in 10 constituencies in the central region. The project report indicates MPs actively interact with constituents only during the electoral season, while the few who make the effort end up engaging only their party faithfuls. CAP is therefore hoping to improve citizens' understanding of the work of parliamentarians.
It also tells you what the media's responsibilities are to the people, including the fact that the media has the responsibility to hold government officials accountable. And again, last week, I reminded the EC of that you may find the media annoying. You are very happy when the media passes information to the electorate. But you have to remember that part of the media's role in the Constitution is to hold you accountable. So they don't have to agree with the way you do stuff. They have to ask you questions, and they have to embarrass you if they think that you're not doing your job properly. It's non-negotiable. You're not there to be friends with the politicians, even if you give them voice. You're there to hold them accountable, although that is only one rule.
For her part, the project coordinator, Gifty Nyomi, called for adequate education on governance to enable the electorate have basic understanding as to the people they vote for.
They feel that the primary thing is for the MP to come up with projects to construct roads and all the other things. They don't understand that their very primary objective for being in Parliament is to help in making laws.
Now, the president of the ECOWAS Commission, Kadri Desire Ouedraogo, has conferred with President Mahama and conveyed a document relating to monetary integration in West Africa in accordance with the decisions of the extraordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government held in Dakar last month.
The target is that ECOWAS should have a single monetary zone by 2020. And in the strategy adopted, we should have a convergence to create the second monetary zone by 2015. That is, among the 7 countries of ECOWAS not member of the UEMOA community. So we have followed closely the implementation of the creation of this second monetary zone. And of course, we have noticed that we have noticed some delays in the implementation. This is the reason why we presented a report during the last meeting of the authority. The authority reviewed the situation and reaffirmed its commitment to the achievement of this objective of creating a single monetary zone in the ECOWAS region. But they believe that it is time that the authority get involved.
As been said, coordination is important because at every one time or the other, one country or the other has achieved 2 or 3 and slipped back, and so it's been like a forward and backwards movement. A few years ago, I think in 2011, Ghana had achieved virtually all the 4 criteria, but again, we slipped and have fallen back. We are undertaking reforms that would help us meet the targets of achieving the 4 criteria, hopefully by the target date of 2015. And so we're doing fundamental public finance management reforms. And I think that those reforms would help us speed up the process of achieving the remaining 3 convergence criteria.
Now, still to come in the bulletin, Parliament continues debate on 2014 budget. And Techiman Municipal Assembly confirms President's MCE nominee. We'll be back after the break. Now, the debate on the 2014 budget continued with the majority blaming the country's challenges with attracting investment in 2013 on the election petition which lasted for 8 months. The majority also called on the minority to support the infrastructure fund earmarked in the budget.
At the end of 2012, foreign direct investment was in the region of $4.3 billion. Today, it's around $3.2 billion. That means that investors naturally hesitated because of the uncertainty of the political system and the uncertainty. And Mr. Speaker, I then ask them, how many of you didn't tell your constituents to wait for the outcome of the Supreme Court? So was the case of many investors into our economy who needed to be assured of the certainty of his political leadership.
The Trade and Industry Minister also charged the minority to be objective in its criticisms of the infrastructure fund to be resourced from the increase in VAT.
I urge our colleagues to abandon partisan rebellion of this initiative of wanting to adjust VAT upwards and support the minister. I know in the unforeseen future that they may lead and govern this country, they will not do away with the tax regime. So please, for the first time in many years, there are some incentives given to raw materials which will support the productive sectors of our economy, particularly those into printing, that if they brought raw materials in, they will get some incentives from him.
Government has recognized a special role for the private sector by providing this facility. Mr. Speaker, we all know that the same government has provided facilities for RLG.
Honourable member, please, you are...
He's misleading the House.
Honourable member,
so it cannot be the first time. It cannot be the first time.
Honourable member,
so
please.
I just want to remind him that he shouldn't say it's the first time.
Please.
And that loan was significantly more than 50 million. So he should withdraw that part.
The MP for Menchia, Dr. Matthew Puku Prempe, challenged the constitutionality of the infrastructure fund.
Mr. Speaker, under the able leadership of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, government proposes, Mr. Speaker, in the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, we only recognize consolidated fund, contingency fund, and other statutory funds. Where is the law backing this infrastructure fund?
The MP for Takwan Swaim, Gifty Eugenia Kusi, also argued the budget was silent on the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection and urged the Finance Minister to reconsider.
This budget is silent on it. Please, I'm not talking about education. I'm talking about the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection. What they proposed to do in 2012, what they promised to do in this March budget, and what they promised to do here. Mr. Speaker, if Ministry of Education is training girls in junior secondary school, that is not what I'm saying.
No mention of training of girls in the budget. She made a categorical statement, and I wanted to place on record that there are all kinds of girl training programs in the budget.
The debate continues tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Export Trade, Agricultural and Industrial Development Fund Bill has been read a second time as a report of the Trade, Industry and Tourism Committee was laid before the House.
Now, members of the Techiman Municipal Assembly have unanimously voted to confirm the President's MCE nominee. All 47 Assembly members confirmed Philip Opong Amponsa, whose nomination sparked serious rioting by some youth of the Techiman Zongo community a week ago.
Voting was held under heavy police and military guard. The paramount chief of Techiman, Osei Ekumfi Ameyao, and his lieutenant, the Bonafo regional minister, as well as the regional executives of the NDC were present, while the townsfolk waited anxiously outside the assembly hall. Osei Ekumfi Ameyao, in a short message, cautioned the people against spreading false rumors and rather unite for the development of Techiman. In a victory speech, the Techiman MC, Philip Opong Amponsa, stated that his administration will tackle the sanitation problem, among others. Philip Opong Amponsa further pledged that he will run an open-door administration and offered an olive branch to all who were against his nomination to join him in the advancement of the Better Ghana agenda.
My administration will aim at harnessing both material and human resources at our disposal for rapid growth and development. Together with Assembly members, we will work in tandem to tackle issues of sanitation, revenue, mobilization, tourism, education, agriculture, and security, which remains a challenge in our developmental efforts. My administration will eschew rancor, acrimony, and vindictiveness that have characterized our body policy lately. Teamwork is the key in any successful venture.
The leader of the concerned citizens of Techiman, Fosun Soa, expressed optimism the new MCE will solve the numerous problems confronting the municipality.
In a related development, the Brunhaf Regional Minister Paul Evans Aidu has been explaining his purported announcement of Techiman MCE on a radio station which sparked riots in the town last week. He told Assembly members at the confirmation of Philip Opong Amponsa as MCE, he was only relaying communication from the President and that regional ministers don't nominate MMDCEs.
And I'll take the opportunity to
Elsewhere, members of the Gushewo District Assembly have confirmed the DC for the area, Alhaji Husseini Al-Hassan, to serve another 4 years after he was renominated by the president. Alhaji Husseini Al-Hassan polled 29 votes out of 36, representing 80.6% in an election supervised by the Electoral Commission. Still to come in business with Abigail Adumakuinchi, Bank of Ghana maintains policy rate at 16%. The central bank has meanwhile announced plans to put in place a more transparent foreign exchange trading regime. It says will check the depreciation of the Ghana cedi. We'll be back shortly.
Well, a lot happening in the business community, and I'm here to update you. I'm Abigail Adumakuinchi. Now, first off, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank has, for the third time, maintained a policy rate at 16%. Addressing journalists in Accra, the MPC explained that despite the likelihood that inflation will continue to rise beyond the October rate of 13.1%, the use of the policy rate to address it is unlikely to work because of the nature of the problem.
PC revealed a rise in economic activity in the third quarter of 2013 as the Real Composite Index of Economic Activity at the end of September 2013 grew by 7.5% from the 5.8% recorded in July, owing to banks' credit to the private sector, industrial consumption of electricity, SNIT contributions and port activity. The consumer and business confidence indices, however, fell during the period, recording an overall index of 89.3 in October, down from 97.2 in August. Business sentiments indicator equally dipped to 90.8 in September from 92.4 in June, resulting from heightened inflation expectations by both consumers and businesses.
In assessing the outlook for inflation, the committee noted that the upside risks identified in earlier MPC rounds had actually crystallized in the form of pass-through of petroleum price and electricity tariff adjustments, as well as continued fiscal and exchange rate pressures. However, it is expected that the fiscal measures announced in the 2014 budget, if realized, would mitigate some of the pressures. The committee concluded that headline inflation will breach the 2013 target. The committee held the view that the upside risks to inflation, though elevated, are mainly structural and therefore may not need to be addressed by a policy rate adjustment at this time. Consequently, the committee decided to maintain the policy rate at 16%.
The MPC also confirmed that interest rates on the money market had broadly declined. The weighted average interbank rate declined to 16.7% from 17.5% in December 2012. Average lending rates of the banks also declined marginally to 25.6% in October 2013 from 25.7% in December 2012.
Well, we'll still stay with the central bank, and they are planning to introduce a new foreign exchange transaction regime. It says that would check the slide in the value of the Ghana cedi. It follows concerns about the disparity between rates being quoted by the commercial banks and the forex bureaus. Addressing journalists at the MPC, Central Bank Governor Dr. Kofi Wampa explained it is worrying that the local currency has depreciated faster at the forex bureau than it has at the commercial banks.
Some of the quotations are actually even not by Ghanaian institutions or Ghanaian banks. They are rates quoted by external banks, APSA and so on. And we don't think that that is a proper way. It is because of this divergence or that divergent rates we have of the market that we think that we need to introduce a transparent way of dealing on the market. By so doing, whatever everyone is doing, any bank is doing, the other banks can see, and they can also quote with the knowledge that they have of the market. So we have already put in place the system to start operating hopefully by the end of the year. The code of conduct has also been agreed on. There are a few things that are being done on it. It will be launched next week, and it will come into operation from 1st January 2014. And with that, we believe that that will bring more transparency in the market and therefore will eliminate such divergent rates.
Well, in another development, the Bank of Ghana is cautioning the public about their dealings with the U.S. money lending company Limited, said to be a subsidiary of the U.S. group of companies. A statement signed by the bank secretary Andrew Boydo, it noted that the company was taking deposits and lending to the public contrary to the Non-Bank Financial Institutions Act 2008, Act 774, rules and guidelines for Tier 3 microfinance institutions. It says it has not issued any license to the U.S. Money Lending Company Limited and cautioned the general public to be duly guided in their dealings with the company. Well, away from the central bank, Standard Chartered Bank Ghana recorded profits before tax of 193 million Ghana cedis in the first 9 months of 2013, up 80% from the same period last year. The double-digit growth, according to the chief executive, demonstrates the bank's resilience despite tighter regulations and controls. Kweku Beduado, who was speaking at the bank's session at the Ghana Stock Exchanges in Accra, credited wholesale and consumer banking for the impressive performance.
Chief Executive Kweku Beduado said the consumer banking business, along with other aspects of the business, showed strong growth.
Our balance sheet has grown to 3.5 billion cedis. We have improved shareholder value through increased earnings per share of 1.25 pesos compared to 69 pesos last year. Our return on equity is an impressive 48% compared to 40% a year ago. We continue to manage our costs within the context of the challenges that we face in the country. And our cost-income ratio is down to 30% from 44%. The balance sheet is in excellent shape. It is liquid. We are well capitalized and we are strongly funded.
Chief Financial Officer Dayo Omolokun said the bank also complied with the law, paying 4.3 million Ghana cedis by way of a national fiscal stabilization levy.
But it's important to also note that the rate of growth of revenue is outpacing the rate of growth of our operating costs. Shareholder value also improved. The basic earnings per share stood at 1.26 Ghana cedis compared to 69 pesos last year. The return on equity was 48% compared to 40% of last year. Return on assets, 6% against 5% in the corresponding period of last year. The bank continues to be very measured in pursuit of its growth strategy. We want to grow, but we just don't want to grow anyhow.
The bank says its impressive performance in recent years is the result of enhanced systems, good infrastructure, risk management, and new solutions to cater for a rapidly expanding market.
Well, inflation in the prices of goods and services produced by industries in Ghana saw an 11.6% increase in October. This, the Ghana Statistical Service says, was largely due to the recent increase in electricity and water tariffs. And that'll be all by way of business reports. I'm Abigail Adumakwenchi. Sports is up next.
News Business was brought to you in association with
Lipton, inspiration flowing from nature.
All right, time to find out what's making rounds in the world of sports. And Kwesi Nyantakyi begins his second term in office as president of the WAFO Zone B after he was retained unopposed. The Ghana Football Association president got the nod during this afternoon's Congress at the Micklin Hotel in Kumasi. Nyantakyi will serve in office for another 2 years, but the tenure of his new mandate could be extended to 4 years if a proposal before next year's Congress is approved. So, congratulations to Kwesi Nyantakyi on that feat. and we'll be looking ahead to what comes out of all of this. Keep in mind as well, Ghana will be up against Senegal in the Waffle Cup tomorrow at the Barima Sports Stadium. A newly appointed Accra Hearts coach Mohamed Polo says he's looking forward to his new job with a lot of confidence and believes he has what it takes to improve the standards of the club. Polo, who was a member of the Hearts squad that made it to 2 CAF Champions League finals in 1977 and 1979, has been brought in to replace former coach David Duncan, who was relieved of his post a week ago. Polo has been speaking to Joy Sports.
I've always been somebody who always think about the future of Ghana football, and you cannot do anything without the youth. And we have categories of youth. We have the long-term youth development, and then the medium term and the short term. What is happening is that Hearts is at the short-term plan. Because you need to feed the team very well, and it has to come from the medium. And then once the medium is working, the long term too is also supporting the medium, so that it will grow, concurrently with the situation at hand. So in fact, when I got the nod, I had discussion with the management, the board himself, of the chairman, and it looks as if we buy into the same philosophy.
All right, so that was Mohamed Polo. We'll find out how all of that pans out with Accra Hearts. His first assignment should be a wonderful game on the 1st of December. We'll look at that and find out what happens. And now to talk about the UEFA Champions League, 8 games currently underway. Indeed, the likes of Manchester United, Real Madrid are all hoping to get into the next stage of the competition. We'll quickly try to get into the results and find out what's happening. They're talking about Manchester United. They are going quite strong in it, and they're already leading by 2-0 against Bayer Leverkusen. So now we can quickly get into the games and look at what's happening there. Now in Group A, it's set really. Manchester United have done what they have to do. A lot of say that a lot of hard going for Bayer Leverkusen because they have been playing quite well, but it's just unfortunate Manchester United have been able to get those 2 goals against them currently ongoing. Shakhtar Donetsk are leading Real Sociedad by 1-0. Very much expected because we're hoping to hound into any problem, especially if Manchester United were not able to get the win there. We get into Group B, and Ghanaian interest Kwaja Samoa is playing in there, playing very well, playing so well, connecting so well with Carlos Tevez in that game. Juventus are leading by 1-0 against FC Copenhagen. Real Madrid drawing 1-1 with Galatasaray. The game goes on. You're wondering what's happening to the Spanish Giants. Yesterday, Barcelona lost, and of course, Madrid are not winning there. We get into the Champions League Group C. There you have it. Anderlecht also drawing 1-1 with Benfica. And Paris Saint-Germain leading by 1-0 against Olympiacos. Zlatan Ibrahimovic getting the goal right there in Group C. We get into Group D now. Bayern Munich beat CSKA Moscow by 3-1. The question you ask is, can anyone stop them? Muller getting a goal, Ian Robin also in, as well as Mario Götze. This game was played earlier, so CSKA Moscow condemning themselves actually and might not get a chance to move through it. And of course, Manchester City are drawing 1-0 with Victoria Plens. So these are the results currently in it. A number of minutes to go through it. We'll be looking carefully at what happens in all of this. Well, you check it out, and I hope that Manchester United and the other teams can get what they need in it. That'll be all for sports. My name is George Adi Jr. You have a good night. Israel will join us with international news.
Now, even before American R&B singer Akon mounted the stage to perform last weekend at the big Russian concert, reports arrived he and Nigeria's Wizkid had refused to use dark-skinned girls in a music video they were shooting here in Ghana. Apparently, they wanted only light-skinned or half-caste girls for the video. But Akon, who is back in the US, has described the report as untrue.
Akon promised a thrilling performance in Ghana last Saturday at the Guinness Big Eruption concert, and he delivered. But back in the States, after his exciting weekend performance in Ghana, Akon was spotted heading to a restaurant in Hollywood. The press caught up with him and asked about whether indeed he rejected dark-skinned girls in a music video he shot on set in Ghana.
That doesn't even make any sense. That don't make no sense at all, man.
So it's not true?
Absolutely not.
So according to Akon, there is absolutely no cause for alarm because he and Wizkid are not racists.
Calling to become ministers of God. Talented Ghanaian actor Kojon Kansa, popularly known as Lil Wayne, says he will not fight it if he receives the calling to become a reverend minister. He was speaking at the ordination ceremony of the CEO of Miracle Films, who is now a certified preacher.
Nyame wo mre de mani pebia en fon sama bagidi abetwa sinya ma fo be sesre bi silewi ajimi no ne Kojon Kansa je ha ne sinya me ka sen kanse ko je china we sofo am tells I'll judge the movie, I'll give the pastor our reverend I need prophet. yeah.
Okay, this guy always fascinates me, but that's it for showbiz. Top stories. Ghana has been taking off the blacklist of countries whose systems are set to aid money laundering and terrorist financing. The Bank of Ghana has justified its approval of the controversial takeover of Merchant Bank by private equity fund Fortis. Fortis, meanwhile, maintains it satisfied all the necessary stipulated conditions required in such transactions. Residents of Latania and Sawam vowed to resist attempts to eject them for a stone quarry to start operations. And Ghanaians' understanding of democracy, its institutions and personalities supporting it, described as weak, resulting in a general loss of confidence in the governance process. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Ezra Online.